Hey there, you wonderful listeners. I have a question for you. Do you want to make a podcast? Well, Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place and for free. How can you beat that? It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here is how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, there are Q&A and poll options available, and those are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it has made doing my shows like the Steam Machine Podcast, Yabs Pod, and the JRPG Report much, much easier to do. Like being able to just go on there, record them, upload it, boom, it's done. I don't have to pay for a site service to host or anything like that. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 5 of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me, as always, is my good buddy.
This is Ryan.
And this week, man, we have a game for you. A game that I truly enjoyed, man. Like, real quick, first thoughts. How did you feel coming out of this game?
This game was pretty good. This was better than last week's, for sure. Like, miles better, but...
Oh, God, yeah, by like an ocean.
Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I would like to say that two things that I saw floating about on Twitter that I was quite excited about is that Neptunia Virtual Stars, which is known as VVVVVtunia or something like that over in Japan, was announced that it is going to get a Western release, but they have not released any more details other than the fact that it is coming at some point. And, you know, we've covered one of the Neptunia games already, and I believe that this new game coming out is going to be a hack and slash.
Oh,
so
nice.
it'll be more along those lines. Hopefully it has less of the one aspect and more of the game and action aspect, but we'll see.
Yeah. Good on the hack and slash for that game, but let's see if they have an actual storyline or a plot to it. Like...
Yeah, apparently it has to do with some virtual pop stars and stuff, so that, you know, typical Japanese fanfare. It'll be awesome.
Now instead of best interviews, they're going to go for most views on social media.
Yeah, who can get the most likes?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then another thing that excited me that I saw, and it was actually a post from our buddy James from the JRPG Report that pointed this out to me, and that is Ys 9 is getting a Western release, and it is slated for 2021. No firm date yet, but I am excited because Ys 8 was incredible. I played it on my Switch, and now I am wanting to play it on PC, so I added it to our list.
Oh, fun.
So that'll be cool.
Another series that I have no idea about.
Well, okay, so you liked the combat in Neptunia U.
Yeah.
Take that and put it into an RPG game with a full-fledged, really good story. And that's basically what Ys is. It's an action RPG.
Okay.
Graphics look... I mean, I've loaded it up to see what it looks like compared to the Switch on my PC, and it's a world of difference.
Okay.
World of difference as far as look. But, man, it's super fun. I think you'll enjoy it when we get to it. And you never know. That could be our next game. You never know.
We'll see. Our randomizer's been pretty wild so far.
Yeah, especially since I decided to randomize the list every time as well, too. So... We're going completely just blind shots.
Yeah, Steamy's throwing us for a loop on these games.
Yeah, man. keeping us busy. But I'm happy. That's why we created him.
Yeah.
Well, today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, actually, before we get to that, I would like to give a quick shout out to my buddy Blue and his podcast. I believe it's called Blue Presents a Podcast, and it is a music podcast, and he has on different artists or people who really enjoy music to talk about kind of like what music means to them, like how they got started in the music business if they are in a band. If you're into rock or even like hip hop, he doesn't really discriminate as far as music genres. I definitely suggest checking out Blue Presents a Podcast. And if I get that name wrong, I will correct it in the show notes because I will get with him afterwards.
I think that's right.
Okay, good.
I think that's right.
He mentioned to me that he would like to have me and you on at some point to discuss some video game music, and I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, the soundtracks and the scores of some of these games, they have a lot of depth and a lot of story to them, and
absolutely,
some of these games would feel completely off if it wasn't for the score. Like, for instance, something like Skyrim, you take away that epic orchestral soundtrack away from that game, it's nothing.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Another game that would be like that, I would say, would probably be our game today, The Outer Worlds. Some of the tracks in this game that we're playing during some suspenseful moments really helped amp up that. Oh, and that's another thing. Any survival horror game ever would not be scary if it didn't have music, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, certain composers have found that a sequence of notes or in a certain chord actually spikes human levels of anxiety and everything, and it makes it much worse than what it would be if it was just quiet.
What's funny about that is I on the last episode when I mentioned that YouTuber Horrible Reviews, he reviewed a movie that the entire movie has those frequencies playing in the background.
Oh, I
so it's like
probably
the whole movie
awful.
is supposed to just hurt. It's supposed to just really disturb you and give you anxiety while you're watching it.
I bet.
I'm like, that is fun.
There's I forget the name of this, but it's like an EDM band, and they have one song where they
Aphex Twin?
No, it's not them.
Oh.
But they do one whole track in those tones and those notes that induce anxiety. And I'm just like, why?
No, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. I deal with that enough daily as it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we'd love to have him on sometime too. If we ever, come across a game that's got a really good soundtrack, get him on and we'll get on here and talk about it or something.
Yeah.
It would be cool, man. But, that'll come up with time. We'll let all the listeners know when that comes about. But today, we played The Outer Worlds by Obsidian Entertainment. And I want to start off, I'll just give you a little history about Obsidian, because I personally love this company. I've been playing their games for a long time. And I think you have played a few of them, too, over the years and didn't realize it, or have heard of them, at least.
Yeah.
Obsidian Entertainment, Inc. is an American video game developer based in Irvine, California. Oh, and I want to go ahead and preface, I got this from Wikipedia, so I just don't want people to think like I'm reading like a robot. It's just because it's written probably by a robot. It was founded in June 2003, shortly before the closure of Black Isle Studios. An ex-Black Isle employee, by ex-Black Isle employees, this is the coolest name ever, Fergus Urquhart. That's his actual name.
Wait, what? Hold on. Are you on the Wikipedia page?
Yeah, for The Outer Worlds. Fergus Urquhart.
Let's see what we got.
Or it might be on Obsidian's wiki page, not...
It might be just pronounced Fergus.
Fergus?
Because he is Scottish,
Well, I would have put an A in there and just been Fear Gas.
Yeah.
And just dressed like Scarecrow all the time.
So it's probably Fergus.
So, Fergus Urquhart, Chris Avalone, Chris Parker, Darren Monahan, and Chris Jones. Although they have created original intellectual property, many of their games are sequels based on licensed properties. Early projects include Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, and Neverwinter Nights 2, both sequels to BioWare-developed games. The team then developed their first original game, Alpha Protocol, in 2010. And other notable works from Obsidian include Fallout New Vegas, Dungeon Siege 3, and South Park: The Stick of Truth, all which are also licensed properties. South Park's fantastic. I want to point out that Fallout New Vegas and South Park are on our list.
Nice. Is Stick of Truth, or is like the Fractured Butthole on there as well?
Well, both of them are on there.
Good.
Both of them. I made sure. Yeah, it's a continuing story, so we got to continue from one to the other.
The Fractured Butthole.
The Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
I remember that commercial where they would
Is
say
the mobile game? Yeah. Is the mobile game also part of that universe?
No, I don't believe so. The Quest for Cards or whatever it is. South Park's.
It's like Destroy Your Phone or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. Destroy Your Phone.
Phone Destroyer, something like that. But
so throughout the studio's history, many projects including Future Blight, Dwarfs, Alien, Crucible, and Stormlands were canceled. Due to having so many projects canceled, the company entered a severe financial crisis in 2012, and as a result, Obsidian decided to crowdfund their next game, Pillars of Eternity, which is a role-playing game from an isometric perspective, which ultimately became a success and saved the studio from closure. The team's focus then changed from developing licensed titles to creating original games based on the studio's own intellectual property, including a sequel to Pillars of Eternity, which was Pillars of Eternity 2: Deadfire. And I would like to add both of those to our list eventually.
Yeah.
I've heard they're really good.
Never even heard of them.
And then all the games that they've done in our list that we have are as follows: Fallout New Vegas, Tyranny, South Park: The Stick of Truth, Knights of the Old Republic 2, and eventually, like I said, the Pillars of Eternity games. So we will be seeing Obsidian quite a few times in this list.
Cool.
But in November 2018, it was announced that the studio had been acquired by Microsoft and become part of Microsoft Studios, also known as Xbox Game Studios. And their latest release is the science fiction RPG The Outer Worlds, which brings us to our game of the week. So, I gotta scroll down my notes. I actually took enough notes that I have to scroll this time.
Holy shit.
So, my first and foremost question for you about this game: who was your favorite companion? Why was it Parvati?
See, Parvati was cool. She was the first companion I picked up, and I only picked up one other companion. I went the entire game with Parvati and Felix.
For real?
Yeah, that's it. Just the two companions. That's it. Like,
oh man,
I didn't really do many side quests or anything like that. I just straight storylined it for the most part. Like, straight storylined it.
Well, I will say that there are.
And as far as like the favorite of the two companions, I didn't really like either of them. There was plenty of times where I sent their ass back to the ship because they kept fucking dying on me. Like, it's like, no, I could do this quest better without you. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
my next question is, did you realize that you could like give them skill ups?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. And did you change their armor? Did you keep their armor up to date and things?
Yeah. No,
they were still dying?
I updated all their armor. I updated their weapons. I fucking gave them all their skill points and everything. And
damn,
they were just dumb. I even changed like them from being aggressive to defensive, and like make them hover close to me instead of running off. And nope, they fucking died all the time, just like I did though. Like, I mean, if you run out into a hail of bullets, somebody's gonna die. Like,
yeah, I think you had a much harder time with this game than me, because I think I can count on like both of my hands how many times my companions died.
Oh no, there's yeah, especially like the last mission. I probably died about 20 times in 20 minutes on certain parts of that last mission. Like,
well, we'll get there.
Yeah, first-person shooters aren't really like. They used to be my thing way back in the day, but not so much me anymore. Like,
so I was honestly surprised, and we'll get back to the companions in a second, but I was honestly surprised that you did not try to go the pacifist route, because you can totally play this game passive, like,
yeah,
and only kill when you need to.
See, like, I thought about that. I thought about like creating a second save load and flopping back and forth between how I played it and how I played, like how I started and how I would typically play. But starting this game, you just crash land on this place. You have no idea, like, who the hell you are, no idea where the hell you are, no idea what the hell you're supposed to be doing. And then the first couple of people that you run into, they're like, oh, we don't know you. So I'm like, well, fuck. I don't want to get, like, ambushed by a bunch of soldiers or ambushed by a bunch of people that don't know me because I'm some stranger. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I don't want you, like, calling in somebody to tell them, like, hey, I just ran into this person. So, like, literally, like, the first 5 people I ran into this game, dialogue, bullet to the face, dead. Like, I'm gonna take your guns, I'm going to take your armor, give me everything, no one knows I'm here.
So, oh, man. Well, you unintentionally kill somebody in the beginning. It's like when Phineas unfreezes you and sends you down from the Hope, which is where you were frozen, and there are tons of other colonists frozen. You're supposed to meet Captain Hawthorne.
Yeah,
well,
Alex Hawthorne or something like that.
Yeah, and he is apparently just like standing right where the fuck you're supposed to land.
The navigation system or the trajectory, the trajectory chart on that flight was spot on. Like, it found him, and it found him perfectly. Like,
yeah, Phineas is like, I told him not to hold the beacon. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, God. So, right off the bat, I was like, okay, this game's going to be funny. Like, there's going to be some humor to it. And, dude, I had the option at one point. I had a dialogue option that said, I'm going to wring your scrawny neck, you sprat fuck. And... like, oh man, it killed me. I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
But so real quick, back to the companions. There were 6 in total that you come across as you go along. The first one you meet being Parvati.
Yeah. And
she's like the mechanic chick, and she's very sweet. What would you call her accent? She's definitely got a North accent, like a.
The accents were very generic and not really discernible from actual accents, but. It was something like...
Yeah, it was like northeast somewhere up in there. Like, not necessarily a specific area.
Yeah.
But she had that... She didn't have southern twang to it. Let me just put it that way.
No.
You know, there was nothing like that. So.
No.
And then after her, you come upon Vicar Max.
The Vicar.
Now, dude, you missed the fuck out by skipping this character.
I probably did. But, like, my dialogue, my playthrough... It's like, yeah, I'm the vicar here. This is a pretty religious place. I need you to find this heretic book. And I'm just like, a book? No thanks. See you later. Like,
so I went and got the book for him, right? I went and picked it up and killed the enemies and all of that. I bring it back to him, and he gets it, and he goes, What the fuck is this? It's in French? I can't read fucking French. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And I was like, ooh. Oh, man. God got pissed real quick.
Yeah.
And so he tells you that he knows somebody who would be able to translate it. So once you make your way to, I believe it was Monarch, near Cascadia.
Oh, fucking Monarch.
Yeah, we'll get there. But like, so when you go in there, he takes you up to this dude who's supposed to be the translator. He's not a translator. It was actually a guy he met in prison who told him about this book. And the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, you were annoying me with your righteousness, so I figured it would be a funny joke to do it. And he's like, but spare me, and I'll tell you somebody who could probably help you. It's a hermit. Where I heard the book came from is a hermit and I think it was on Scylla. So, I mean, obviously, me and Vicar Max killed that motherfucker.
Yeah.
After he gave us the information that we needed. And he was like, and then Vicar Max, like, pulls me aside and he's like, I apologize for what happened back there. Sometimes I just need to, it felt good to sate my primal appetite for violence or something like that. Like, I was like, yeah, you're welcome, dude. No worries. No worries, bro.
Goddamn.
So, yeah, his story is
sounds like
wild.
my playthrough.
You end up going to the hermit's house. And she makes you... I had Felix with us, so it was me, Vicar Max, and Felix go into this room. We all inhale these hallucinogens, start tripping balls. We see Vicar Max's dead mother, who's talking to him and telling him that, like, he's leading his life all wrong.
That's why.
And then he hallucinates his own self, but he's hallucinating the self that he sees himself as, not his true self. And dude, it was wild.
That sounds wild. And I completely missed that whole spiderweb side arc.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's one of the things I like about these kinds of games is like you have the choice. Like, you have choices. You can weave your own path through the way you want to do it.
Oh, I had choices. I only took one route. Like, this is going to be done my way, and it's going to be done brutal. Like,
so the next companion that you came upon was Ellie, I believe, and I think you missed her too, right?
I don't even recognize that name. I don't even think I ran into Ellie.
She was in the med bay. You go in there, and she's trying to get to somebody.
The med bay on Groundbreaker.
On Groundbreaker, yes.
Oh, I only ran into. Was she the doctor that you talked to for like a side quest? Or
no,
that was like Wanda something, I think.
No, yeah, this chick is a.
She's the only one I talked to.
Right. Well, you end up settling a debt for a girl who's hiding in the med bay.
Oh,
and then once you do that, Ellie, which is the girl who was trying to get in there to get the money. Ellie will join up with you, and then you end up. The quest for her doesn't open up until you go to Byzantium, and her parents live in Byzantium. So you didn't see any of his quest. Okay, so you take her to her parents' house.
Yeah.
And she wants you to really play it up like you guys are big badasses, and like when you walk in, you have the option to. Be like, when they're like, "Hi, nice to meet you," to you have the option to spit on the floor and be like, "Nice house. Think I'll take some of it with me when I leave." Play the badass.
That is totally my character. Totally my character was the straight up badass.
So come to find out that Ellie's parents, because she had left, and they didn't want to have to explain that their daughter ran off to be like a mercenary type person or like an outlaw. Mm. They said that she bought some like 12-inch heels and tripped and broke her neck, and then they've been like, their house is super nice and everything, and she's like, wait a minute, where'd you get all this money? They've been collecting her life insurance.
Oh shit.
So then that pisses her off, and you guys leave.
You kill her.
Well, so I killed her parents, and then she left my group, so I reloaded and didn't kill her parents. No. Until later, but I'll get to that. So I basically took her back to Monarch, to Cascadia, where you go up into the little town in the cave. You know what I'm talking about, like the town that was in the cave area. Nope. All right. Well, one of the side.
See, I really didn't do too much on this game. Like, I stayed straight storyline, very few side quests. Like,
all right. Well. You go in there and you switch around the broker. The chick's like, well, you can't. The only person that can switch the life insurance beneficiary is the person whose life insurance policy it is, and she's dead. So I looked at the chick and said, I'll give you 3,000 bits or whatever. So I'll give you 3,000 bits to change it. And she's like, all right, what name do I need to put down?
Oh yeah.
So we ended up switching over. That was her companion quest, which was pretty cool. But
I liked the bribing part of this game. That came in handy for some parts.
Yeah, you get caught stealing. You just be like, you saw nothing.
There was that. The one time it failed me, and God, I was pissed about this. It was in Byzantium, and had to go into the restricted section. And, of course, the guard stops me, and it's like, this is the restricted section. Only authorized people are supposed to be back here. If you're not authorized, they're going to kill you on sight. So I was like, all right, I'll try this bribery thing. Well, I'll give you 2,771 bits to just pretend this never happened. Bitch took my money, and then as soon as I turned around, I got shot by like 12 people. Like,
oh man!
Took my money and then killed like 10 seconds after.
Was that the place where you had to go talk to that crazy actor dude who was like locked in that house?
No.
No, okay, you might have not had to do that because I know you took a different path than I did at one point. But then the other companions weren't really, I don't know, they were all right. Like, you get the SAM unit that's in your ship, like you could have taken that out as a companion, and then you get Nyoka, which is the chick with the crazy pink hair who helps you out, and she's a drunk.
Yeah. Oh, you run into her at what? On Monarch, right?
I believe in Monarch, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she was the one who wanted to escort me to that one place, and I was like, I don't have time for you. Just tell me where I need to go. Like,
okay, yeah, see, if you would have let her escort you, she'd have become one of your companions.
Oh, yeah. See, didn't have time for that. Like,
her side story was kind of cool. I ended up having to kill a Manta Queen at the end of it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, did you run into a Mega Manta Queen? Because
yes.
I ran into a Mega Manta Queen and was like,
yes, I did.
Shit.
The Mega Manta Queen, and that was a respawn moment for me. That was like, oh, it's a Mega Manta Queen, and I'm dead. Reload last save point. Like,
that does not surprise me. It was a hard
if you haven't caught on yet, I died a lot in this game. Like,
I didn't die much, but that Manta Queen did kill me once.
Yeah, no, I died like all the time. I probably didn't play this game to the capabilities that you were supposed to use it, like the time slowing mechanism, like the TDD or whatever.
Love it.
I never used it.
Love it.
I never touched it. Like, I just
made my life so easy.
I just went in guns blazing, bringing the heavy hammer of my justice down.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see you play Fallout then. I wonder if you will use the VAT system. Probably not.
Probably not. Like, we'll see.
I will tell you that the most of the times that I died were just poor judgment of, yeah, I could survive that if I jump off this.
Oh, so yours were more like environmental deaths instead of like... Yeah. I completely underestimated this group of enemies.
I can climb up that without falling off. Yeah, sure, let's do it. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. The other companion that you get is Felix, and he joins as you're leaving the Groundbreaker, which Groundbreaker is like a ship in space that's almost just like a...
It's a space station.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a space station.
It's a pretty cool little place. I really like the aesthetic of this game.
Yeah, I didn't spend too much time on the Groundbreaker, just enough to go in there, talk to Gladys, have her try to charge me 10,000 bits after doing like 2 side quests for her. So I just shot her in the face. Like, I killed her and everyone in her room, took her shit, and left.
When the Sublight place, you know, Sublight. Oh, yeah, if you didn't spend much time in there, you probably didn't go in there. So there was a Sublight contractor place. They like deal with scrapping and salvage and stuff like that, sending me on these missions that had nothing to do with scrapping or salvage. So obviously it was a covert or a cover, like a front business. And I ended up finding a space station that had been abandoned and was full of this gas that they were researching, and these scientists like in stasis and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it turns out I get to the very end of it, and it's like an alien conspiracy, and they send you to this lab, and you find this doctor at the very bottom, and talking to you're sent there to kill her. Like, the lady from Sublight's like, I want you to find this bitch and put a bullet through her head.
Yeah, fun.
And I'm like, all right. So I showed up, but being the way that I was playing, I wanted to hear both sides. So I listened to the doctor, and the doctor's like, I think they misread what we've been doing, because we're only trying to figure out how to grow food that is sustainable for us to survive on, because if you haven't noticed, everybody's fucking starving.
Yeah.
So I told her, I'll let you live under one condition: if you go and work with Phineas Wells. And like, without missing a beat, she's like, deal. And the guard next to her is like, doctor, what the fuck? And the guard's like, wait a minute. He goes, hold on. He goes, you guys, everything that was just said in this room was way beyond our security clearance. Hell, it's beyond my security clearance. Give me one good reason that I should let you go. And my response was like, because I'm about to save the fucking world. And he was like, all right, good enough. or you could just be like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. You know, that was like the exact opposite of my playthrough, where you were like trying to listen to both sides of the story. Like, the very moment that the board wants you to work for them. Okay, bet. What do you need me to do? It's like, oh, we need you to find this person. Do you want me to kill them?
Fuck the board.
Yeah, it's like you need to find this person for us. Track down this person. It's like, do you want me to kill them? It's up to you. Okay, I'm gonna kill them.
I'm gonna kill them. So to wrap it up, when I left the doctor's lab and I went back to Sublight in Groundbreaker, I go up to the office and everything, and I walk in and the lady's like, "Did you kill the bitch?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I just no." I think you misunderstood like what they were doing over there. And the lady's just like, "That's disappointing. A contractor that grew a fucking heart. Well," she's like, "here's your severance pay. Don't ever come back here again."
Oh, she would have loved me.
So I channeled my inner you. I saved the game. I went into tactical time dilation, and I blew the head off of her and her 4 guards before anyone moved. Which was the cool thing about tactical time dilation. Your companions wouldn't even be able to draw their guns before I had everyone dead in the room.
Yeah.
See, and
if I would have known you could have used that feature like that, I probably would have used it more. But it's just, I messed around with it early in the game and didn't really get the gist of it. So I was just like, fuck it. Guns blazing the whole time. Right.
So, at the end of this game, which we'll touch on the very end real quick with the cut scene at the end. I know the things that you see change based on the way you played the game, and I know you went down a completely different path than I did.
Oh yeah.
Whereas I saved Phineas Wells and you killed him.
Oh yeah, I one-shotted that dude the second I could. Like, open that door, boom, gone. I don't even think his body stayed intact. I think I hit him and he exploded into bits.
Poor Phineas, man. He was just trying to help people.
Hey, I was just trying to help the board. They offered me riches and fame and everything in Byzantium. Fucking taking it. I'm a true mercenary. The highest dollar. I
hated Byzantium.
I loved Byzantium. I love Byzantium. That was probably my favorite world in this whole game.
It looked the coolest, but everyone there was assholes.
Not to me. They all loved me. The movie director guy that I ran into when I first got there loved me. Paid me lots of money to shoot a bunch of people in a movie audition. I walked into some random store and this lady's like, "You got shit going on. Do you want to be a model?" It's like, "Fuck yeah, I'll be a model." And I ran into another person. It's like, "You look awesome. Why don't you come and do this for me? We'll pay you good money." Okay, I will sign up for this shit too. I didn't actually do any of their side quests, but they paid me.
I just didn't like it, man. But in my final little, video at the end, it's telling me. Oh, spoilers, by the way. We should have said that at the beginning, but I mean, I assumed. I'll put it in the show notes that it's playing that Phineas is successfully able to revive some of the scientists that were aboard the Hope, and they are then they work together to get everyone else unfrozen. And Phineas does not live to see all of the colonists revived, but the scientists that he revived and taught his knowledge while he was alive continued on his legacy.
Yeah.
And then it ran through other stuff like Parvati. If you would have done her companion quest, she ends up falling in love with Junlei, the girl who runs Groundbreaker, and they become a couple, and it's real cute. You help them set up their first date, and you go take Parvati to go get some soap so she can clean up, and a good dinner, and then some nice clothes, and all of this different stuff. It's really sweet. Honestly, Parvati was one of my favorite companions ever.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see her story wrap up, and then in the ending credits, that it basically gave her and Junlei a happy ever after. It was nice. So where I was talking about where it'll come back, when I went back to Byzantium and had to go into that actor's building, I just started mowing down guards because I just wasn't going to try to talk my way through it, which made all of the guards in Byzantium hostile to me, which made everyone hostile to me. So I just started killing everyone I saw. So without Ellie with me, I went back and killed Ellie's parents for pissing me off earlier in the game. And then in the end credit scene, it said that when Ellie found out that you killed her parents, she left the group and became a different person, all this type of stuff. So they didn't let it just slide because I did it without her in my party. She wouldn't know about it. No, she found out.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. But the Sublight, it said that basically Sublight contractors fell apart. They're not a thing anymore because of me killing the head of it, and there's nobody to run it. And I was like, hey, fuck them.
Yeah. So you actually lost a companion based on your actions?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I was going to lose Parvati at one point. but I just intimidated her into staying my companion.
When you killed one homeboy in the salt tunic place?
No, it's not that. It's I had to go back when I joined the board and really chose to follow the board storyline. This is where we diverged. One of the missions was I had to go back to Edgewater and kill everyone. Literally everyone in the town of Edgewater. Yeah. That was fun. It was really fun. I had to go back to the geothermal plant and change the code on the automechanicals to view humans as the enemies. So the automechanicals went into Edgewater, killed everyone, and then I had to go in and eliminate all the automechanicals. I had to literally leave Edgewater completely empty. Like,
oh man!
But it didn't take long to have the automechanicals kill everyone. I sat around that computer in the geothermal plant for about 5 minutes, just diddling around. And then I switched the code back. I switched the code back to automechanicals target automechanicals. So when I showed up into the town, they were literally fighting each other. So I just sat back and watched them kill each other. And then I spent the next half hour pillaging the entire town. Like, I went into every available building, every available house, raided every resource that I possibly could.
I love it. Yeah. So I got to know, well, I guess you probably didn't, really. Did you do any of the faction quests on Monarch?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so there were 3. There were the MSI.
The MSI, yeah.
And the Iconoclast.
Yeah.
Okay. The Iconoclast.
I helped the MSI. Yeah, the MSI was like, fuck the Iconoclasts. We're going to end them. So first, it starts off, you meet the guy up at the top of the mountain, right? The Devil Horn Mountain. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I can't get my radio broadcast out because of these two fuckers, the MSI and the Iconoclasts. Well, the first place I go is the Iconoclasts, and as soon as I get greeted by the lady at the front gate, and she's like, oh, we're like this religious commune thing. And I'm like, you're a fucking cult. You're all going to die. So yeah. She tells me where the head boss guy is, and I'm like, all right, I'm not even going to talk to this guy. As soon as I see like the identifier on the screen showing that he's close, I get to the top of the stairs, but I don't go quite over, and aim a headshot in and down in one shot. Just kill him before I even dialogued it. Didn't even get to talk to him. Gun goes off. Achievement, like quest completed, like silence the Iconoclasts. And then they hated me. I spent the rest of the time on Monarch helping the MSI like eliminate all of the Iconoclasts. Like,
so I ran quests to help Sonjar and the MSI.
Yeah.
And then I also did quests to help out the Iconoclasts.
Oh.
And so I helped out MSI and I helped out the Iconoclasts as well. And running missions for the Iconoclasts, Graham was his name. You come to find out that like he's a bit fucking wacko. Yeah. Obviously, he's running the cult, and his right hand man, actually I should say right hand woman, is Zora.
Zora, yeah.
She's got a level head on her shoulders.
She died too.
Well, damn it, man.
I cleared out entire buildings. I cleared out entire towns. I was the rider on the white horse. Like,
I am the pale horse named Death.
Yeah, that was me.
Well, so you do some quests for him, and you start realizing, Zora starts to realize that Graham is only in this to spread his message. He's really just kind of using people and not caring if they die. He just wants to get his message of whatever the fuck out there, right? So you go to a meeting where you're supposed to, you go in there and really you're going to kill Graham, and Zora stops you. And she's like, I don't think, or you have a choice to kill Graham or to help Graham. And she comes up and she's like, I don't think Graham can handle this, what you're going on through and everything. And she sends you to find this information. So you go and find this data cartridge that's got stuff on it proving that Graham was behind the massacre that had happened in Amber Heights, which is where they were staying, where they were located at, which was
why there was a town there now is because all this happened where he had let pirates in, gave them the gate codes, and they slaughtered the entire fucking Amber Heights. So Zora finds this out and says that she wants to take over. So you guys go up and confront Graham.
Yeah.
And it comes down to it that he's like, no, basically, you're going to have to kill me, motherfucker. So we killed that motherfucker, and Zora took over. So then I got Sonjar and Zora to meet at a neutral location.
Yeah.
And have a debate, really. And I moderated it and actually fucking succeeded and made them join forces, and they became like this big powerhouse at the end during the credits. They were like, these two have really done wonders, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So I took the complete opposite route of that as you.
Yeah,
except we both ended up having to kill crazy religion man.
Yeah. For sure. I actually didn't watch the end credit cutscene after I completed that last mission. Having to take care of the little guy. He distracted me from it. Makes sense. But I just looked it up, and apparently just all the smaller colonies die or whatever. But reading into the different endings of this game, I'm pretty sure that my stats were just right, that I could have ended up with the dumb secret joke ending.
There's a dumb secret joke ending?
Yes, if your intelligence score is low enough, which mine probably was because I never put any points into intelligence. And I also acquired the flaw, the permanent concussion, which lowered my intelligence points even more. Is if your intelligence points are low enough at the end of the game, you will skip the hope into the sun. Like, so you just crash the ship into the sun and end everything. Like,
that's fucking tremendous.
Since I missed it, didn't get to watch it, taking care of the little guy, like, and knowing that my stats were that low, I might have hit that secret ending and didn't even realize it. And it would have been a fitting end to my character, just gone out in a blaze of glory. Like,
totally.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna take out the sun, fly this ship head on into it. Like,
when you flew to, did you have to go to the labyrinth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you landed there, did they give you shit? Did you have to talk to the people trying not to let you on?
I talked to, since I had gone the route of the board, they were like, we were told you're on your way. Are you here to help us? It's like, yeah, I'm here to help you. Like, why else would I be here? They were like, okay, well, we're pinned down here. It's like, well, fucking fight your way out and meet me up here. But we can't do that. Fucking use intimidate. And it's like, if you don't fight your way up here, I will find you and kill you myself. And he's like, actually, you know what? I believe you. So we'll beat you by your ship. And sure as shit, they were there waiting for me. They were waiting for me. Like,
that's awesome.
I used intimidate a lot through this game. Like,
yeah, I used perception a lot.
See, I persuasion, not so much.
Oh, that's what I meant, persuasion.
Yeah, the persuasion I didn't really use that much. The lying I used quite a bit, but the intimidate was like my go-to. Like, I was just a bad bitch, and nobody fucked with me. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, but
you made a girl. That's right. I forgot you played through as a woman.
I did.
That's right.
I did, like, I don't know if you noticed this through your playthrough, because you did a lot of the side quests, and you took a lot of the sides, like, you listened to both sides of the story or whatever, but once I started working on just, like, one side and one side storyline, my character started gaining a reputation of being brutal. Like, every time I would meet that next NPC that would have a dialogue of it, is like, I've heard about you. You get things done kind of well, like, but they'd show some restraint and some fear. Like, this game picked up that I leave no survivors. Like,
yeah, it's really cool how you have like that reputation thing. Yeah, and that plays really big in Obsidian's game Fallout New Vegas too. Is that there's all these factions, and like you build reputation with those factions, and they will recognize you.
Okay,
depending on what level of that you're at. And that's one thing I really like about Obsidian, is that they pay attention to those little details.
Yeah,
because to me that's immersion, and I'm all about immersion.
Yeah, if I'm assuming New Vegas is on our list, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. whenever that comes up or whatever, and it does follow your reputation, I'm assuming mine's going to be just similar to this playthrough of the Outer Worlds. And I think that's cool that they follow how you play the game.
Yeah, because it leaves it open to you could replay that game and see almost a completely different game, and it's the same game, but you're just playing it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like every time I played Fable, or any of the Fable series, where your actions lead to a different branch of gameplay.
Hey, that could be added to the list. There is Fable PC releases for those games.
Are there? Interesting.
At least the first one. The first one.
I know they are planning. I think I saw rumors that they are going to be announcing a Fable 4 for the new Xbox console.
Well, maybe you'll finally be able to plant that acorn and grow it into a tree like they promised in Fable 1.
Maybe.
I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. That would have been really cool back then. But, dude was just overhyping, just trying to do more than they could, and it's nothing on him. He was trying to make his game sound. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love Fable. That's a great game. But the game promised to be more than it was.
Yeah. And it being a title like it was, and not just an ever expanding universe, they had the time to really work on the promises that he made with the franchise in future releases, but didn't really focus on them all too much. Yeah. Whereas No Man's Sky, when that released, everyone was super pissed because it had none of the elements that the creators talked about. But you look at the game now with all of the updates they put out, it's this game is everything that they promised, and it's only going to get better with every future update. Yeah.
Yeah, and that, dude, I use that game as my sole description for someone when they're asking me oh, well, what do you mean by there's a game devs need to be dedicated to their product? I'm like, dude, look at what they did with No Man's Sky. They were dedicated to putting out that product. They had to release it early to take advantage of the hype. People got pissed. But what have they done? They've released all of their updates for free. No extra charges, no microtransactions, none of that bullshit.
None of
it.
And
their game has become fantastic.
Yeah.
And they just released a 8 gigabyte update or so that was crossplay and a bunch of different patches to fix crossplay between systems, which is awesome.
Yeah. But it's I remember it came out and it had 8 million buys, 10 million players or something like that. And then within the first week it had dropped down to 100,000.
Dude,
and it slowly built back up. It slowly built back up. With every update, it's getting better and better, and people are coming back to this game. They may never have to come out with a sequel to this game as long as they keep doing these patches and these update to it. But this game is going to live on forever and have a cult status.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I remember seeing Reddit articles before there was even actually a kind of a multiplayer. People set up a multiplayer type forum on Reddit so that they can just use a certain space station as a bank for resources and shit like that. They had a full-fledged... I forgot what they called it,
the Nexus or something.
Yeah, they had a full-fledged internet following, and they used it to communicate with each other, whether you could do it in the game or not. They did it.
And that came from the game that at one point, Steam keeps track of how many people are playing games at any given time.
Yeah.
Online and stuff. Dude, No Man's Sky had one player.
Yeah, I believe it.
There was one day it had one player in the whole world, and I was holy shit.
I believe it. And now that guy is probably the top shit in the fucking game.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
It's dedication right there.
Yeah, that's also on our list, man. I can't wait till that comes up.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for that to come up either.
Although I don't even really know how you cover that game. I mean, there is story to it. There is a storyline to it now.
There is. There was a little bit of a storyline when it first came out, too, having to... You could either fully explore these planets and try to unlock all of the secret words on that planet and try to find all of the different waypoints, or you could just try to get off the planet as fast as fucking possible and move on to the next one. There's huge depth to that game that nobody in this lifetime, without some sort of mod playing the game for them, will never be able to complete 100%, because it's so fucking big.
It is feasibly impossible to see probably even a fraction of the amount of that game.
Yeah.
That was 18 over 18 or over 20 quintillion planets. That's something that's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping they would have more as far as the like. I don't know what all the updates have done.
Not enough for you?
No. It's the planets were all generic. You would run into the same planets over and over again. I was hoping that they would have. Like, you come across some of these uninhabited planets where there's nothing but just, like, alien creatures, flora and fauna. But I wanted to see one where you come across, like, a robot planet. It's super built up, super, like, all cybernetics. Then you come across, like, a human planet where it's got, like... I wanted to see...
that's one of their planned updates eventually, is adding colonies.
That would be fucking great. Like, that's what it needs to happen. Like... That would make it a true, like, universal science fiction game, is having the ability to run across other things like that.
Now, I do know that there is a mod for PC, and I don't know if it's up to date anymore, but I used to use it, that legit did some sort of math behind the scenes and made it to where every planet you landed on would look different. No two planets would look the same, and it was cool, but it was really taxing on my old graphics card.
Yeah,
but I haven't tried it with this new graphics card yet.
Yeah.
But real quick, back to Outer Worlds.
Yeah, back to Outer Worlds. We got sidetracked.
It happens. When I landed on Labyrinth, and instead of them being like, "Hey, you're here to help us, right?" They're just like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. We've flagged your ship. You can't leave until you pay the fine, and the fine is 5,000 bits." And then I said, "Go fuck yourself." And he's like, "Oh, and disrespecting an officer, that's another 200. You're up to 5,702 bits plus death."
Oh, well, here's 5,200 and go fuck yourself. Like,
yeah, basically, I told him to go fuck himself again. And then he's like, he said something else, and I used lie. And I was like, "Do you not know who I am? Are you serious? I'm going to have your fucking job." And he comes back, Oh, is that... "Oh, I'm sorry, my screen was blurry." He goes, I see it's you now, sir. Now that I can hear you, I totally know it's you. Sorry about that."
Yeah.
And I was like, damn right, motherfucker, let me out of this.
I bitched out a lot of people like that through this gameplay. A bit just like, do you not know who I am? Like, do you know why I'm here? Okay, well, I'll just completely change my demeanor now that you've threatened me. Like, threatened my life. Like...
So I start running through, and I start getting swarmed by corporate guards. But then all of a sudden, MSI and Iconoclast start coming out of nowhere to help me. And Groundbreaker comes pulling in behind me, and people off Groundbreaker come in. So I've got like this fucking army running with me. And we just stormed that place, just mowing people down.
That's cool. I had no Groundbreaker help. The corporate helped me from the get-go because I told them I would kill them myself if they didn't help me.
Yeah.
We ran, like, the first people that we ran into were rioting prisoners, took them out easily, and then, like, third or fourth deck in, as you're climbing through the pit, run into the Iconoclasts, and they're fucking pissed at me because I slaughtered their people like they were fucking livestock. Mow through them. The corporate stuck with me all the way until we ran into pretty much the robot warden.
Oh, yeah, you had some trouble with that, and I'll let you tell your story first before I get to how I did it.
Yeah, that motherfucker. Get up there, Dr. Wells comes across the screen, and he's like, "You dumb bitch. I told you to skip the Hope to Terra 2, and you skipped it to fucking Tartarus." And I was like, "Go fuck yourself, buddy. Like, you're crazy." I'm just doing the job of whoever's going to pay me more. And he's like, "Well, fuck you. I've programmed the robot warden to kill you if you even try to come after me or save the adjunct admiral or whatever she was." Yeah. And I was like, "Bet. This is going down." This robot warden was a fucking asshole. Not only was it like a giant mech, it was carrying one of those mechanized riot shields. And every time you get the health down a certain amount, 8 combat drones would come out at the same fucking time.
Jesus Christ.
Not only did I have to deal with this giant asshole mech with a riot shield, I had 8 combat drones all fucking going at me at the same time. And of course my two companions go down like fucking wrestling referees touched by the breeze. Like, they go down within like the first minute, and then they would stay down because you can't get a break from the combat. They won't respawn their health unless you get a break from the combat. So,
which is a pain.
Over and over and over, probably a good 20 restarts on this scenario because these fucking drones and this mech are just, they're awful. They were awful. It took me so many, I rage quit a couple times, had to walk away from the laptop, like, this isn't happening. And I was like, I probably didn't do enough side quests. I probably am not a high enough level. Like, but I finally did it. I figured it out. And I was like, fuck you, saving the game immediately. And then I thought, like, okay, that was tough. That can't be the final boss of this game. Sure as shit was. Like,
yeah.
I go through the door, walk up the stairs, there's Phineas Wells. As soon as the door opens, he pulls his gun and fucking boom, headshot. Dude explodes into a million pieces. End of game. Like,
that is my one complaint about this game, is that it kind of just ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of just ends. But the way I did it was I come walking into that room and the leader of the board pops up and she's like, well, my robot warden here is going to fuck you up and it's going to kill you, and then we're going to kill Phineas Wells. And I was like, no, the fuck you ain't. So she's like, well, if you can get through the robot warden, good luck, we'll talk.
Yeah.
So I'm standing in that room and I'm looking at the screen. I turn to my right and there's a door. So I go over and I lockpick my way through the door. I go through the door.
That's the door I probably couldn't hack. Like,
there's a terminal in there. So I go over to the terminal and I click the terminal. It says 80 hack or something to
I should have
disable.
kept my hack up. Like, I rechanged my stat points before going into that final mission. And I lowered
brutal.
I only put my hack at like 50 or 60. I didn't think I would need it. If I would have kept it up, I would have hit that computer. I would have fucking hit it, and it would have been over.
So two of the skills that I randomly had at 100 were hack and science. And it just so happened that on that computer, it was a hack 80, a hack 100, and then a science 100. And I passed all three of them, and that robot just dropped dead.
Yeah,
Didn't even have to fight him.
I wouldn't have been able to do that. Doing some reading about this game, where you had to hack the computer to shut him down, and I died a million times trying to take the fucker down. Yeah. There was a third option that you could have manipulated through dialogue to get.
Please tell me you get to jump on the robot's back and ride him valiantly into the final battle.
No, absolutely not. Before you even get that far, while you're talking to Dr. Wells over the screen, if you had chose to go with the board,
yeah,
you can talk Dr. Wells into killing himself and ending the whole thing there.
Oh, that's fucking morbid. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, but you could use, like, if your persuasion was, like, at a 90, or your intimidate was at, like, a 90, which mine were set for that. Mine, like, I did a little bit of reading, no spoilers or anything, but I just did a little reading about that last mission. And they're like, set up your persuasion skills, set up your intimidate skills, like, put them at a 90 or higher. And that's what I did. And, like, if you go about the dialogue right with Dr. Wells during that dialogue scene, you can actually tell him, like, hey, this is a lost cause, buddy. It's like, you're going to die one way or another. Either you can do it yourself, or I can do it for you. And if you do the dialogue right, he will do it himself, and it just, like, ends there. Like, the robot warden's never activated. You can run right by him, go unlock the admiral or whatever she is, and rescue her, and end of game. Like,
see, the end of my game, dude. After I had taken down that robot warden and everything, I just ran in there. And I opened that door, and there sat that lady and her 4 guards, and it was like being in Sublight all over again. I just hit tactical time dilation, and all of their heads were gone.
Damn.
Because I had my shotgun, by the end of this game, my shotgun was doing, like, I think 1,300 damage.
See, that's ridiculous. Yeah, you did a lot of tinkering and a lot of modifying and shit. I think my strongest weapon at the end of the game only did, like, 256 points of damage.
Well, okay, so my strongest weapon was a fucking pistol that I had that was burst shot. It would go like drah, drah.
Yeah.
But it had corrosive ammunition. I don't know what the fuck was up with this pistol, but I had tinkered it to be up to the level that I was at or whatever, and it was doing 2,400 damage It was like 2400 DPS. I was like, that is insane.
Yeah. I think I had like a level 30 plasma rifle, and that was my go-to, and it did like 240, 250 points of damage, but that's a fucking BB gun compared to the guns you were putting together. Like,
yeah, man, I did a lot of modifying and tinkering, just fucking around with different things just to check it out, and
that's where I failed, where you did all the side quests and you did everything. You probably loaded up on bits and equipment and everything.
Yes, sir.
Me just doing storyline, that shit was so few and far between that I was like, fuck it. I'm just throwing on whatever I have. Like,
I'm not going to lie to you. I think in total, I spent like 67 million bits.
Yeah,
some ridiculous amount.
I probably didn't even earn 100,000 bits in my entire playthrough. Like, I earned like nothing. Everything that I earned in that game, I stole off the corpses of my enemies. Like,
so one thing I did do was pop back in to a save that I had made like a few hours back earlier today, and just played a couple more missions. But I cheated and gave myself max money. So whenever I would find new gear, I would tinker it to the full amount.
yeah.
Like all the way up, and the guns I would tinker all the way up. So when I got towards the end, I didn't finish the game again, but like once I got towards the end, dude, I had spent 300 million bits. That's how much I had tinkered up and stuff. So like really, you would have to work hard at this game to really upgrade all of your stuff.
Yeah. It's like, I got lucky going through the labyrinth. I found some armor sets that gave me like 81 armor and like 81 helmet and everything. And then as you got further in the storyline, the weapons got stronger, higher in level. Like, I ended this game as a level 23. Like, I literally hit level 23 when I rescued the Adjutant Admiral. Like, that was it. Like,
I was level 29, and I think I was sitting pretty at 24 hours and like 37 minutes or something like that. Play time.
Oh man, I think I was at like 16 hours.
16?
Yeah.
Goddamn, blaze through it, man.
No spider web side quests. Like, story. Like, I knew this was going to be like one of those like Skyrim type games. It's like where if you get caught up in the side missions, you're going to be there forever. So I was just like, fuck it. We need to get this game done for the episode. I'm not going to spend more than this amount of time on it. Let me get this done. This is a game that I'm definitely going to keep like on my hard drive and jump into on some days where I just need something to do, and probably replay it with a different mindset and actually do the spider web side quests and all that.
Yeah, last night I was playing it, and it was like 4 or 5 this morning, and I was like, all right, I'm done with the side quests. So once I had gotten to Byzantium, I pretty much stopped doing the side quests. I wrapped up my companion quests. I finished off my faction quests, and I told that lady, "Oh yeah, I'll be your model," and then never went and saw her again.
I mean, that's what I did too. But like, where you did all the side quests for every other world before Byzantium was like the only place I did side quests for. I was like, here are my people. These are the people with money. These are the people that I am being the brutal mercenary I am to be. Like,
you know what's funny about that? We basically played this game polar opposite.
And
except
that's fantastic. That's how we should like try to. We shouldn't set like specifically tell each other we're going to play these games different. But I love that us playing the same game and we see how each other plays it at the end of the playthrough when we talk about it, and just know that we're two different types of gamers. Like, you got you who is like 100% a gamer and is into the story and the immersion and everything, doing all these side quests, and me, the casual gamer, it's like, well, fuck, I don't have the time for this. Let me fucking just railroad this shit. Like,
yeah, man. But you know, that's like I said, that's the thing I love about RPG games.
Yeah,
you know, it's to each their own, and that's the way I always look at life. You know, I tell everybody, like, whatever floats your boat, don't let it sink your boat. That is my motto.
Yeah.
And I know that's the way with video games too. It's like, dude, if you like, MOBA games, then play MOBA games. Just like, don't be like those people who were playing, World of Warcraft for days straight and then drop dead. It comes with the balance. But being able to go into a game and kind of weave your own story within the story is something that I really hold highly when it comes to games. So like if I was gonna give this 1 out of 10 starships, I would give it a solid 8.5.
That's not bad. I'm gonna go 7.5.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's a good game. It's a great game. Just I didn't put enough time into it for like a higher score. It didn't like capture me enough to get me to do all the side quests. Like,
yeah, and I would think that my extra point probably came from doing the companion quests and getting more involved with them.
Getting more detail on the storyline and like the story of the game itself probably bumped up your score as compared to mine. Like you're saying with the RPGs and certain style of games where you can interweave your play style into the game itself. It's like I try to do that on any game I play. Even if I like pick up NHL 20 and do a create a character mode, if I pick the enforcer position for my create a character, that's all I'm being. And I'm going out every game swinging.
Yes.
Going out every game swinging, trying to pick up as many hits and as many fights as I can. Like,
dude, yes, countless hours me and you spent when I was up there just seeing how many hits we could get per game. It was fantastic.
Like, but that's one of the things that I love about video games the most. It doesn't matter how the storyline plays or how the gameplay it goes. It's all based on who has the controller. Like, you literally control the aspect of the game. Like,
yes, sir, man. And it's like a book that you can play, or like a movie that that you interact with, but it's a lot longer than just 2 hours.
Yeah,
it's quite nice. Well, man, you got anything else about the Outer Worlds? Other than thank God it was better than Corpse Party?
Oh yeah, no. So glad that we didn't have 2 stinkers in a row. God.
Yes. Well, man, if you don't have anything else, then let's see if we can wake old Steamy up.
Yeah, let's get old Steamy going.
Hey, Steamy. Hey, buddy. You know it's that time of the week. We got to bug you for a number. What you got for us?
Yeah, give us that game, Steamy.
All right, it's looking like it is 710. Thank you, Mr. Steamy. We will see you again next time, bud. And if I just reference my list real quick, it seems like 710 is The Last Tinker, The City of Colors.
Another game I have never heard of before.
This is a game that I've never really heard of before. I got it in a bundle, and I've played a little bit of it just to see what it looked like, and I can tell you it's a very pretty game.
Oh.
The graphical style is very, I call it homey. I don't know how to other describe it, but I call it just homey. Like, it's very comforting, I guess would be the word. It's a comforting animation style. You'll see what I mean. And everybody talks like the old Nintendo 64 characters.
Yeah.
All that jazz.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've never dove into it, man, so I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. It's I looked it up on howlongtobeat.com just now, and it's saying that for just the storyline, without doing like little extras and collectibles and stuff, it's about 6 hours long.
Yeah. 6 hours. We may be pumping out another episode tomorrow. Like.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, we may be putting one out in a day or two because this is not a very long game, so that'll be cool though. Give people more to listen to. So if you don't have anything else to say about that, I think then we'll just go ahead and throw our social media out there. You can find us on the World Wide Web at facebook.com/the Steam Machine Podcast, or you can pop over to Twitter at Twitter/Steam_podcast. We are available wherever you get your podcasts at. And if you do not know where to get a podcast at, or you don't feel like messing with us in any kind of apps or anything, you can also go to YouTube and type in the Steam Machine Podcast, and we will show up there as well. Usually about a day or so after the episode. But sometimes I do it on the same night. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling after I spend the time editing and such.
Yeah.
But man, we just want to thank you guys. We've been getting some good feedback about the show, and I personally really appreciate it. I know Ryan appreciates it as well. it's for the love and people checking us out and sharing the episodes and things like that. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you all.
And I think that's about gonna do it. So he's Ryan, I'm Dalton, and everyone out there, take it easy.